Nora, Dan Newman here. I'm going to show you how to use this little edge finder that you just got. It's got a flexible tip, and we're going to put this in the chuck. We're going to tighten it down. We're going to turn the spindle on, about 500 RPM. It really doesn't matter, just so it's not thousands of RPM. So now what we're going to do, this represents your rim shoot, that piece of paper, and we're going to check this arc. Okay, so I'm going to come out. To a position that's close to the edge of the rim shoot, the edge of that arc. The larger segment of arc that we examine, the more accurate it's going to be. Okay, so I'm going to come here, and I'm only going to come down into it about 100,000ths of an inch on the depth. But I'm going to dial my handle here until, and then look back up here. You're going to see this thing, little tip is starting to run true. You'll see it in a second here. Oh, I wasn't deep enough, sorry. You see how it kicked over to the side? Well, now we're gonna set our 0. We're gonna check it again just to be sure. And that's 0. Okay. So we're gonna make sure our Y is 0 too. So now we're gonna dial over to the other side. Until it kicks over. And I like to back up and come at it again slower. 3.292. 3.292 divided by 2 equals 1.646. Okay? So I'm going to dial to that number. You can see it there, and I'm going to set my 0. That's 0 now. So now, if I dial to that number again, $1.646, it should be relatively close on the other side also. Half a thousandth of an inch. So that's very good. So that means that we're centered this way. So I'm going to dial back to the 0. And unfortunately I'm going to re-zero this because I see that it moves to thousandths, just so that it's the most accurate that it can be. I'm going to dial to this position here until the edge finder kicks off. Okay, 956. So we say 956 on the Y, 1.646 on the X. Okay, so we're going to take this into the office. You're gonna leave it in the. Is it still running? Yep. You're gonna leave it in the machine, Nora, when you're doing this. But I'm just bringing it in here so I can show you. So what I've done is I'm gonna create 3 points here. I'm deleting this. So I'm gonna create a point. X minus 1.646, Y 0. So So that created a point right on x46, 1.646, y 0. I'm going to create a second point. 1.646, y 0. That was negative 1.646, and that's positive 1.646. Now we're going to create our y. x0, y 0.956. So that's our 3 points that we found with our Ed Finder. Those are the numbers. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to draw a circle that represents the tip of the Ed Finder. Here, here, here. That's 200 thousandths diameter or 100 thousandths radius. Then I'm going to create an arc. Arc from 3 points. Here, here, here. Okay. Then I'm going to transform that arc. I'm going to copy the arc over. I'm going to copy the arc over. Transform chain. It's going to ask me the direction. So now I've transformed it over 100 thousandths of an inch. That's the radius of the tip of the Ed Finder. My computer's slow. I got a lot of things open right now. Okay, so now now we can see if we examine these are all tangent to that radius. So we're going to examine this diameter here. We're going to go to diameter instead of radius. 3.990 is what we get. And we get 3.987, 3.986. So we're a couple thousandths. We're within a couple thousandths there using that, and that's going to depend on the accuracy of your milling machine in the digital readout, which is probably pretty accurate. But you would be within a couple thousandths, and it's a good way just to verify and double check.